speed parts. I don't like working on rusty vehicles. And 3, I get very, very angry very, very fast. You know, it's nothing like working under the hood of a car. You smash your finger and you start going up in a whole bunch of curse words. You start throwing a wrench. You throw a little temper tantrum, and you're gonna have that every once in a while. But we're gonna try to keep it cool on this page. We're gonna go through our experiences working on anything from this right here, 1964 AMC Rebel American. As you see, it was a drag car built in probably the mid to late 90s. It originally came equipped with a D-stroke 400 small block Chevy. It was D-stroked to 377. It came with a power glide transmission, a Ford 9-inch rims, 514 Richmond gears. It had all the go fast parts. It just hadn't ran probably about 20 years since it was last at this dragway that still has a sticker on it. It was very nicely done about 25 years ago. I purchased it, went through everything. We pulled the engine, pulled the transmission, pulled the rear end. We rebuilt everything. Went through the engine, tried to disassemble it, put it back together. Visual failure. My first engine blew up on the first hit in the road out here. Same thing with the transmission. Over tightened the servo band, and bam, that thing was cooked. So I tried again. I went to somebody who was a professional transmission rebuild person, bought a new power glide transmission. I found a 880 350 block. I bought a 383 stroker kit from Scat, completely forged, so I shouldn't have any issues. I did everything right this time, timing set right. Only thing I'm having is a little bit of issues with the carburetor right now. So we're dealing with, we're waiting on a new 850 CFM carburetor from Proform. It's the cheaper one on Summit, I know, but I heard good reviews on them, so that's what I'm going with. I'm going to try it out. It does have a Holley 4150 double pumper on it that I will take off, and I don't know if I'm going to try to give it the best shot at cleaning up and rebuilding it, maybe send it out to somebody, but we're going to give that a go. We'll see what's going on. This is probably the main project you'll see. Unfortunately, all that work was already done. I would love to have gone step by step rebuilding the engine with you guys, because you could learn with me. I bought the David Lazard book, How to Rebuild Your Small Block Chevy. I bought a Power Glide transmission rebuild book. Like I said, the only thing that happened with that Power Glide was over-adjusted servo band. I will be taking that back apart. We'll get a video of that later. But you're going to see anything from race car content. We also have a 2005 Dodge Magnum in our fleet, 2011 Victory Cross Country. You'll also see that right here is a 1966 VSA 8650 Lightning. We purchased this bike a long time ago. Basically, the way I acquired it is my dad bought it. It was really, really nicely done. It is unfortunate the condition it sits in today. But basically, he had a hell of a time getting it kick-started. It's 66, there's no starter, you can't just hit a button, right? It's right-hand shift, left-hand brake, where nowadays it's reverse for American bikes. But basically, he says, hey, I can't get this thing started. I go, oh, I'll go out there and kick-start it. He goes, yeah, right, you kick-start it, it's yours. I went out there in slides, took me 3 kicks, I had this bike going. He goes, I guess it's yours. So that's how I acquired it. Unfortunately, out here in these country roads, these bikes are not very good to ride, so it's sat for quite a while. And unfortunately, it's in the condition it is. And we're going to be redoing it. Basically, we put it away and sat it because it needs a new gasket kit. The jugs are leaking a lot of oil. The guy who had it before did a good paint job, body work, but he wasn't an engine guy, so he didn't get the engine quite right. So that's where we're going with that one. But right now, we're going to be working on this, the 64 American. Basically, what we have to work on here, we're going to do a little bit of wiring. The way it was wired is very old school. It's got a very old fuse panel. I mean, it's still got a dial up delay box. It does have a new MSD6AL2 in it. It's new controls, a whole lot of new stuff under it. I guess we'll take a look underneath the hood right here real quick. Give you guys a kind of a rundown of what this car is, what it looks like, and what we're going to do with it. Plan number 1, well, get it running right, get it down the track. So here's under the engine bay. We got a 383 stroker sitting there. It does have some dark iron eagle heads on it. It's got a, some rocker girdles. There's the Holley 4150. It's got a Wyand intake, single plane. It's a little taller. It does have about an inch spacer in between, horsepower stuff, I guess. Some other things you'll note: the front end is actually from like an '89 Camaro. It was kind of hard to find some parts for that. Once I figured out what it was, I was like, okay, I figured it out. New brake booster. pretty much all the good old school race car stuff. You know, it gets a lot fancier. Technically, this is a tube chassis vehicle. We do have a full roll cage. You can see it's tied in. It goes to the front. We have bar coming across the front. We have roof bars. I mean, it was at one point a certified roll cage. I don't think it would pass now. We don't have any door bars. And then some of the actual tubing underneath needs a little bit to be addressed as far as, you know, being up to spec. But this is what we're going to be working on today. This MSD 6AL2. But not really that. It's more or less the old antiquated fuse. So I literally had one of those fuses come loose on me, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, it's time for this thing to go. Not doing anything fancy. You'll see there's a lot of wiring that needs to be addressed eventually too. We're going to get to that. I just got to bring home the right size wire. A lot of splices. Actually, these are splices that came from the Holly kit, which I thought was weird, but it's not too bad as far as it goes. I mean, I've definitely seen a lot worse mumbo jumbles of wiring, but this definitely needs to be addressed. Because it would be a nightmare troubleshooting, you know, when you're waiting to go in the staging line, something happens, or you know, you got 2 hours for the next race. But pretty old school. Oh, these are some nice old racing slicks. They're very old, but they're going to do the job for the first hit. I got a new set waiting to go on. The rear end from this vehicle, I think, is actually from a 68 to 72 Ford Galaxy, something along those lines. A bigger vehicle that would come with a 9-inch rear end. It was shortened. It was braced. It actually does have a ladder bar suspension kit, coilovers in the rear, tie rods, and all that good stuff. So it was a nice race car at one point in time. Just somebody, you know, let it go. 1/4-inch drive set. That's all we pretty much need. But yeah, so look, we're dealing with fuses like that. Little 30-amp fuse there. A 15-amp. Another 15-amp. A 15-amp. And whatever the heck that one is, it's just solid in there. So, anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to go in. We're going to take off everything that's going somewhere. So basically, you'll see we have incoming power. I don't know how well you can see, but incoming power. We stole power for the MSD right here. We also have another old power cable there that might be going to, I think, this relay here. Then we have power out, so we have this one goes, I think, here, or it might go to the delay box, which I don't know why it's white. Black. This one, I think that goes to the starter button. This one, I think, goes back out to the starter relay. So that's the other thing. So we need to hunt down where all these wires are going to. Because yeah, so this red one is the starter button. This black one is definitely our ignition button. This pink red one might be one of our water pumps, or the water pump, and then these two little guys I think are also going to be the fan. And then we also have the relay box here, which again we're doing some weird stuff with that I don't really approve of. We got too tight of wiring. So then we're going to jump into, I think we're just going to start rewiring this thing. We're going to figure out where all this stuff goes, maybe drop some of these buttons out of the way here and go from there. It'll be a long process, but we got a bunch of zip ties we got to cut. It'll be long for me, it's not going to be too long for you guys at all. So, see you later. So one thing I will add is eventually I will be getting some relays. We got this one here for the ignition. Other than that, I'd like to get some relays for the fuel pump, the water pump, and the fan that I got up there. Because it's better to use relays. You don't burn up your wiring so quick. You don't have as high of a chance of, you know, say fires or so. Just makes things work a little better too.
I mean, the fan I just pretty much run on high. I don't really have it because there's no thermostat or anything in here, so there's nothing temperature regulated about it. So we just run that bad boy on the high setting instead of the low setting, and well, we keep the engine cool. We don't want it to get 220, 240. That's actually what happened with my dad's car, the Vega. Pretty much we went out, took it the first time to the track. We're running it, everything's going good. We flushed the coolant, we flushed the oil. You know, we did a little bit of, you know, maintenance before we took it out. We weren't complete dummies, but that being said, we were told that we were under the assumption that everything was fresh. You know, everything was rebuilt, everything was proper on the car. Well, turns out the car spun a bearing a while ago, and we had a good oil pressure, but it got hot really, really quick. Now, that's not to say the spun bearing caused the engine to get hot, but what ended up happening was the car got up to 230, 240 on a coolant. So, you know, it wasn't water, but it was hotter than you'd like it to get. It was hotter than you'd like it to get, so we ended up taking it out, sent it to a machine shop. He kind of reviewed and said, yeah, it definitely spun a bearing. I think it was number 3 bearing, but he's not 100% sure it's due to the heat. So we got hot, we lost oil pressure, and we just instantly said, all right, season's over, let's send it out. And that's what we did. There's a lot of wires here that don't do a whole lot. So we got a lot of them are for the MSD system. As much as I like to keep them, you know, we also got like this right here, this taped up wire that I believe goes back all the way to the fuel pump. Has to. It's huge. So yeah, this wire here goes all the way back to the fuel pump, but it's spliced about 8 times, and it's just not proper. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do all new lines out to the fuel pump again. We replaced like half of that fuel line, and it's just not good. And we even got it where we have exposed ground connection here that could be arcing out. So we're gonna do the right thing, and we're gonna do it right. The only other thing I'd like to do, I wish I had, is my labeler. I would like to label these. It would make life a whole lot easier in the future here, but I don't have it, and I don't really want to wait for it either. So I think we'll do one at a time, going where it should go. Yeah, I mean, they just chunk together, and we're gonna get some real grommet in here, so that we're not using this old falling apart junky stuff. The only problem doing the fuel pump is way back there. Gotta jack it up off the tire again. Ugh. So my dad's house has a lift, which is beautiful. I brought this to my house to kind of keep the lift clear for doing, well, other stuff that we need to do this winter. You know, because it's Ohio. Basically, you plan your projects around winter. Then you plan your garage around winter. What's in the garage? What's in storage? What's in the trailers? You know, yada yada yada. So yes, I mean, we got things spliced everywhere here. It's just not how I like to operate. I mean, you run enough wire you have enough wire. I don't. That's what I don't get. You run the wire. You have enough wire. So we're gonna fix that. I know wiring's the boring part. Not a lot of people want to see this, but I think a lot of people need to see it, because this is a nightmare for the next guy. This is not what somebody wants. I should have addressed this last year technically. Did the old vice grip garage thing and put your peepers on it. Made sure nothing smelled. There was no smoke, and that's how I kind of planned. I was like, the wiring's fine. Well, it really isn't. It's actually bad. This might turn into a two-part video. So what you'll notice is that this is all distributed power. They brought grounds to here. The new little fuse panel I got has a positive and a neutral side. It has a positive and a neutral. So you have distribution, so we don't have to do this crap anymore. You'll see that around here, even for like the trans brake, it just spliced and just touched off somewhere to the rail. Well, we're going to bring it all back here. We're going to bring all that to a central place, probably somewhere on this guy. Might tie into here, something like that. Maybe even, this guy right here. Just a good place to actually get it, to actually seat and do what it needs to do. The other thing is we'll have to figure out how. Yeah, that's gotta go. That's unreal. That's toasted. That's the fuel pump. I mean, that's just no good. So let's get this old guy out of here. Let's check out the wire. Once they're going to land that new panel somewhere, we're going to start seeing what we need to do to relocate wires. Because, this little wire, I know where it comes from. I know what it does. But it's just not, it's not right. So. I'm going to take mental notes because I don't have any labels. I'm basically going to sit here and go okay, fuel pump, which I have all that, we're good. So this wire here is a neutral safety switch. Basically it says that should just be a neutral park for this thing to start, and they're basically running power out and back through this. It doesn't need to be this significant of a power cable. I don't know why it is so large. And they're bringing it back on this toasty guy right here. So I think I'm going to change the plans. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through this singularly and just change wire after wire, because this right here, this is just no, it's toasty. This one here is ignition, but the ignition switch isn't even rated for that big of wire. I mean, it turns this on. I don't see what I'm saying. I don't understand. Right? So, and what they did was they took the fuse off of that. Yeah, ignition. And then this is the other side of the ignition wire, right here. This guy. You kidding me? This tiny little guy right here. And it turns the 6AL on. So, I'm going to pull out the wiring diagram because it's going to get dicey. I'm going to forget something, I'm sure. This right here, another splice. That's spliced into this white wire, which then comes up, goes back to, which this white wire is the old RPM module. It's this guy. So there's a tack. It comes back out. It goes to the RPM activated switch, which then basically initiates that guy. So there's a solenoid, so I don't have to shift this dang thing, which is nice. But yeah, then we have fuses spliced in. This is spliced in to this relay. So here's power to the relay. And this relay shift solenoid. Here is side of the shift solenoid. It's grounded right here, back to itself. And then the signal to shift the shift solenoid is right here. It's on this RPM activated switch, which technically this needs to be spliced and cut out because this now, well, the switch still works. So this still right here is the actual activation switch. Here's power across, and then there's a, then they have their, so here's the RPM module. Just a lot of, I mean, I get it. You buy this module here and you have to splice it. It is what it is. You absolutely, it's what you have to do. The yellow wire here is supposed to tie into, actually this didn't tie into anything. So we have a lot of wiring here we just have to address and make look nice. It's hard to get it all to look fantastic, but we can do our best. Now look at that. We have a nightmare on our hands. So we're gonna pull everything out. So everything so far we pulled out is some form of power wire, some form of 12-volt signal going somewhere. We're gonna put it back, and then we're gonna start doing one by one, figuring out what each wire does, and then replacing it. Because we can do a little bit better of a job of wiring. Like you see all these right here, we can put those into one terminal and make it just work better. Or, you know, like this 12-volt power here, we can extend this cable. So unfortunately there's going to be splices, it's going to happen, but we can get rid of some of these double splices here, like this guy. That's weird. So this is the RPM activated module. I don't know, so they must have fed it power from the same power source. It's all the same. So this is what I'm saying. You know, things could have been a little better. So this one's actually not even needed, this little guy. But like I said, what we'll do is we're going to do one by one. We're going to clean up this mess here real quick. We're going to go one by one, put everything back onto the new panel. So this will go back, all these will go back to somewhere. And then we'll grab a wire, we'll pick one, we'll figure out what it does, and then we'll change it from there. I think if we just tore it all out, we'd you spend the next 2 weeks rewiring this thing. I'm not as good as some of the other people are. Technically, I'm a mechatronics engineer by trade. I have a master's in systems engineering, so I do know wiring quite well. When you have a diagram, we'd be able to figure this out, but it's just a matter of running a new wire. Everybody likes to start fresh because then you can just look at it as a blank slate, see exactly where you want to run your wire. But this isn't a perfect world. I'm not that patient, so we're going to do it this way. And we will, this one we're going to have to, you know, put on a sheet metal screw in, because right now we're shifting at 6,800 RPM. We had a, I think 7,200 RPM pill in there, 74, something like that, because this thing actually used to rev out on the 377, which the 377 is a high revving engine. It's meant for, it's used a lot in circle tracks, so that's where you're going to see, that's where that kind of engine came from, so it must have been where they had it, but unfortunately we blew that bad boy up. So we got the old little Chinese little guy, this little whoop, 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 whoop. I don't know, it's not American. That's okay, you know, not everything has to be made in the US of A. Then everything would cost $1 million. Alright. Got the good old Crapman going. Well, he'll have that. So I think we're gonna go back in roughly the same place. Now maybe a little further over. But here's our neutrals. Power's on the bottom. And that gives me enough for routing. Let's see. Wait, I need to. Alright. Or we could go on the trans tunnel here. Come to this side and come over and straight down. Problem is we take the trans tunnel off. Nope. I mean, I hope to not have to touch any of it, but that's life, you know. Just things happen, okay? Now life is going to be easier if I pre-drill a tiny hole. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually pre-drill something. That's great. what is your preferred brand of, say, power tools? Are you a Milwaukee fella? You a DeWalt girl? You know, do you run with Makita? You know, what is your brand of why? You know, me, Craftsman, cheap. It was affordable, and it made a good product, guaranteed. Find it in the old Lowe's. You know, just simple, right? But some people, Milwaukee, because they got all the fancy dancy stuff that, I don't know, I guess plumbers need, or maybe, who knows. Doesn't sell stuff that I need, so I don't have. Well, that's what happens when you go to the old Chinese market. You're going to get a nice stripped screw. Pro tip, don't do that. Let's be a bigger drill bit. How many screws do you put in for safety? Are you a 2 screw, a 1 screw? Or do you happen to do all 4? I guess, what kind of level professional are you? Me, I'm a hack, so I usually go 2 each corner. I'm in a hurry. There you go. That's how you solve your own problems. I mean, it ain't going anywhere, but we'll try to get this dang thing out. Well, you're loose, let's go. She's done, she's cooked, okay? You're done. Let's try this again. Whoops. Well, there might be something on the other side of this. I'm not too sure. Well, I'm looking right at it. I don't see anything. And this is why Impatient Garage exist. Now, I know you're all going to be like, well, don't use the impact, right? Use the drill. Well, yeah. Probably not a bad idea, but like, it's just so much easier in the impact, you know? So, get off my back, alright? I think 2 is going to be fine. Less holes in my firewall. Okay, safety. No fire, right? Safety. Okay. Now, what we can do is we can relocate all these little fellas into our neutrals here. Because, well, yeah, we can. And then we'll tie this guy somewhere special. I don't know where yet. If I want to put it to this rusty bar, this rusty bar, this rusty bolt, this ungrounded piece of aluminum. You know, who knows? Who knows what we could do? You know, we could put it right to here and, you know, actually not have any ground. This car will never start. So, and then this guy I'll have to remake, but it's going to go right there. That's big enough wire. Problem is it's just, it's old. And then this guy we need to switch to, you know, smaller fork terminal. The guy has a lot of work to do. Coil, distributor, so we're gonna go get a terminal kit. I mean, I guess we can do. What the heck is going on here? Well, why? Well, I did that. That was me. How silly. There's a fuse in here. And this goes to the line lock. They didn't use the right size wire. What a dork. Let's get some stuff cleaned out of here. Anybody need an old fuse? Right there. You can have it. It's all yours. I'll put on the old eBay. You let me know. Alright. Fastly running out of motivation today. You're just getting those moods and you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's where I'm getting to. But you'll have that. Keep on trucking. It might be time to just go get me, you know, a little adult beverage. You know, it's about that time of night here. So we're gonna start switching to the old fork terminal, and that'll, ooh, those will fit beautifully. I don't have many of those left though. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do have little red ones, which will also fit on the smaller wire. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start pulling these, like this round one right here. The problem is I don't want to waste it because I want to basically replace this wire. So I know this is a power wire. It's in bad shape. What does it go to? Fuel pump. Alright. The other thing I was going to get was a new switch panel. So, you know, I like these old school switches. The reason I haven't bought a new one yet is because I would need like 2 switch panels, because I have a lights one over there, start, ignition. You know, there's right here. There's 8 total rockers, right? If you don't count the light one up here. So that's a dilemma. Do I wait to get the rocker panel to do all the rewiring? So do I even waste my time putting on these things? That's the question. That's what I have to decide. We're going to do this for now. We're going to get this taken care of. We're going to run new wires. Well, the ones I don't have to switch out, because I'm having an identity crisis right now. I'm struggling. I don't know what a guy is going to do yet. Okay. Just, I don't know. This is going to drive me up the wall. So we're fixing this for now. So it just does, come on. Oh yeah, what kind of music do y'all listen to? Listen to country music, listen to rock music, you know. What is it? What is your preferred flavor? Rap, R&B, hip hop, house music? Well, Marshmello, I don't know. Cypress Hill, Linkin Park, Korn, Metallica, Meek Mill. Drop it down below. What do you listen to? Alright, so boop, get over there. Well, I don't want to lose that. Found it. It's not gone forever. It's still hanging around. Alright, so this big one, I don't know. It obviously it's not fitting in there. So that'll go there. This guy is not fitting. That'll go there. This guy will fit. Okay, look at that. Get it somewhere. Just, you know, pre-loosen some of these up. Now, one thing I wish Craftsman offered was like a 12-volt offering. You know, one of those little 12-volt, you know, screw guns, you know, stuff like that would be just nice. But I haven't seen it yet. Maybe haven't been to Lowe's in, I don't know, a million years. I'm not one to go shopping. If I can do it online, well, I go online. Get in there, little bugger. We want it under the washer because we want enough seat pressure so it'll pull out. Bam. And another one. So again, these two don't fit. And here's this little round guy. We'll put him right there. And that was also this big guy here, which he's not going to fit either. And then I think we had this big guy here, which is not going to fit either. But I'm not going to go ahead and change everything over because that wire's all junk. So yeah, some content will come from my garage. So I just have a small 2-car garage attached to my house. A lot of the other content is going to come from my father's house in his garage. Basically, we built his garage 2-3 years ago at that house. We built that garage, him, myself, and one of his friends pretty much. And you know, on truss day and roof day, we had some help come over, but it wasn't. We put the walls up, we set the forms to the foundation, dug the, basically it's a pole barn foundation, so we dug the holes for the posts, we then squared the foundation and all that good stuff. And then we came in and put the walls up, put generic trusses up, squared it, and then had truss day, family came over, and then we had roofing day. I think we had the building up in less than a freaking week. I mean, the guy who was helping us was super knowledgeable, very, very skilled. So he pretty much just guided it and said, "Hey, you meathead, bring the hammer and do this." So that's what we did. We were the muscle in the organization, which I don't mind. I don't have to take much responsibility when it comes to that. So tell me where to put a nail, I'll put a nail. Alright, so I don't know where I lost you, but that's a battery change. And of course these batteries last like an hour. So what I was asking was, I'm hoping this Akaso V50 or whatever the heck it is a good enough camera to start off on. I don't want to go pay $800 for a GoPro and, well, I don't want to be able to do this consistently. Not that interesting of a guy. And I don't know if my journey is something everybody's going to want to be a part of. With that being said, I'm hoping people find my content interesting, people find me interesting enough, and they want to keep coming back and watching. And I hope you're one of them. But the combination of videos is going to be taken with my phone, this Akaso V50, and a couple of other sources I'm going to try to find. I just didn't feel like paying $800 for a GoPro right now, one of the good ones at least. But if this one doesn't have the video quality, then we might have to, because this one seems not to want to adjust to lighting. So we'll start here and we'll go from here. But there's a new switch panel. It is pretty much installed. I need to get some relays. I need to get some more wire ran. Not everything is fused, which is not always a good thing. Like so, we'll probably fuse the RPM activated switch once we figure out which one is power. I think it's definitely this guy right here, because it's spliced into a 15 amp fuse and then goes to this relay here, which then goes out to that solenoid. So that is our power. Basically what we'll do is we'll power both the solenoid and all that from this guy here, and we can get rid of that fuse. So I mean, literally all this is doing is we have the RPM switch here, comes in, actually it's gone to the delay box. Oh, that's goofy. Why is that? That ain't right. That's labeled wrong. Yeah, so this right here is the delay box. This is the RPM activated switch, and this is the shift solenoid. All those will be routed here on the power side. Because actually you can see here, the power that goes through for the shift solenoid, it comes back and it goes I think this also goes to power somewhere. Gray is what trips the solenoid. Blue goes out to the solenoid and powers it from the relay. Here is power in, so this is also a power wire. So this feeds power to the solenoid and out once it sees the trigger switch here. Well, there, solenoid, delay. Well, that don't make any sense. This is definitely power. Because yeah, this is, okay, I figured out what they're doing. This here goes out to the shift solenoid. This here is power to the actual solenoid. So there's power to the solenoid, and then we have this guy here, which is power that actually goes out to the solenoid, or to the shifter solenoid. It's weird, I don't understand. So, because basically what you, a relay, right, you have power in, power out. The power in, so you have the hot side. The power in basically powers the solenoid. When it sees power there, it opens or closes the solenoid, or the solenoid, depending on what it is. If it's normally open, it'll close it. Okay, then everything on the other side is what's going out. So you send 24 volt, or in this case 12 volt through, switch is made, 12 volt goes through the switch and out to wherever you want it to go to, in this case the shift solenoid. Why they have two sets of wires here and we're spliced in here is baffling, right? So this here is power to the RPM activated switch, okay? This here is power to the solenoid. And then this here is power out. And this here is the actual relay switch in. Then this one is the RPM, so this actually goes to the tach, still signal from the tach wire, which as you see it's spliced in. Power, power out, and you have your neutral. This is supposed to be up here. Thought I put it there. Okay. And this is for like a secondary source of something, I forget. So why are we dual sourcing power? I have to look at that relay and see what the schematic is on it, because yeah, that's weird. But anyways, so I think we're gonna wait to get the new rocker panel. I think we're gonna wait to start replacing this wire once we get it, because once we get the new panel, it's gonna be a whole new length. I'm gonna actually run it through some big grommet. So then we'll go to the old Amazon and order that stuff. I do know that we got power and power here. This goes to, I think, the MSD box. This goes to the fuel pump. Then there's another big one that goes out to ignition. This is also power. And yeah, I think we need to get a little bit more wire too. A couple bigger sizes we need to start running, because this is also power here. And so is this guy. Those are all power wires, and we'll keep them there so I can remember mentally. Even though I'm going to get confused, I know I am. So that's going to be it for tonight, I think. I don't want to go any further because it's going to cause myself more work. I guess I started this project as more of a, just get it started. Get a little motivation, figure out what I need, what I want. You know, the old Toby Keith song. Tell me what you want. But so we got this guy in. It's going to be pretty solid. Like I said, we're going to get a new rocker panel. I think we're going to get another solenoid panel to actually run solenoids. I want to run solenoids to the fuel pump. Well, actually pretty much everything. Ignition, because then it cleans up all this wiring. I don't need to have a giant wire going through this harness here. I can do a smaller wire to the relay, power out to that relay, then out to what I need it to. So I need 1, 2, 3. We'll do 4 relays. These guys right here are small enough power. I mean, they're small 12-volt power systems. I mean, they're on 16-gauge wire. Those I'm not too worried about having a relay. Same with the RPMs, they're just such low power, it's not really needing a relay. It's the stuff that you're going to giant, you're going from the switch out to this. It's just so you don't have to carry giant wire like this throughout. This can go right from the relay and back. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go on, get that relay. I'll have to figure out which one I want. Probably going to do like a sealed boat one. Then we'll get another kit of wire. And then we'll get the labeler. We'll start labeling everything, making it right, figuring out which side everything goes to, and just do it one by one, putting it in the harness, zip tying, making it look a lot cleaner.
Alright guys, well that's it. We did a little bit of wiring on the old Rambler here, so hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back for some more content. I'm going to try to put it out as quickly as possible. You know, with a full work schedule and stuff like that, we're going to try our best to kind of keep pumping out, you know, little videos here and there, 20-30 minutes, just to kind of keep things rolling with this channel. I'm hoping you guys just come along with the small projects I do, and some maybe even some big undertakings. I do have another 350 small block I want to get built. I do have 2 other transmissions I do want to rebuild, and I like to do things myself. I'm not afraid of a challenge. I'm afraid of wasting a lot of money by blowing some stuff up, but that's how you learn, I guess. I guess you can go to professionals and you go to any of the forums and just be like, well, just take it to your machine shop. You know, you go on, you know, that social media page about building small block Chevys, and you ask a simple question, you get ridiculed by guys, and they just says, well, if you don't know, you should take it to a machine shop. It's like, well, okay, but how do you learn yourself? Sometimes the questions are a little small. A simple Google search probably would answer it for people, but you know, they like to say, you know, people like to put out there that this is the project I have. So anyways, I hope you come along with me. You see what I do wrong, you see what I do right. You might pick up on a thing or two, and maybe you'll teach me a thing or two. You know, that's the biggest thing. There's no ego here. I'm not going to get upset when people call me a dummy for doing something the way they want to do. It is the way it is. We all do things differently. People will probably get mad that, oh, well, you just ruined that or something like that, but that's no big deal. So anyways, I hope you join with me again. There wasn't as many inpatient activities today. No wrenches were thrown. It's a nice calm day. You know, we ran into one Murphy's Law thing that usually, like I said, it happens. It's my story of my life. What can happen will happen. You know, I put an engine in, I forget to put the header on, header doesn't fit the engine in. I go pull the engine back out. Stuff like that happens all the time. So like I said, I hope you will join me again. And for now, see you later.